everybody, and happy Tuesday. Tuesday is my 5th favorite day of the week. That's not to say I don't like it. I like it just fine. But out of 5 days, something's got to be number 5, and that's Tuesday. But with that being said, I hope you're all having an excellent Tuesday. We're doing good here. Another spring day, rainy and snow, but by the end of the week, we're looking at 14, which will be perfect to rock a Hawaiian shirt. So I hope to see you all in your Hawaiian shirts. So I thought today we would talk about what a seedling needs. We've done a lot on seeds. We talked about that, and we all know that our basic seed, it needs the two things, I'm sure you all know what they are by now, to get it going into this state. And what it needs rain from there, and it needs warmth. You give it moisture and warmth, you're gonna get germination. We've seen it, we've witnessed it. I sure hope your seeds are doing good. Send us pictures. You got pictures you want to send us, you got questions, of course, always keep sending us stuff. We love seeing it all the time. So we know that that's what the seed needs. We touched upon what happens. So after the seed has germinated and this has popped up, we now have a seedling. Well, what a seedling needs is light and water. Right here, finger guns, is what a seedling needs. So we're gonna touch on that. Isn't that good? I already give you guys the answer. I literally just gave you the answer, so I hope everybody got that right. So, the main thing that we know, so our seed now has broken down, and we've got our seedling, and there it is, coming up, and it's doing pretty darn good. And the roots are growing there. So, now we have to say, well, what does it need? We know what the cotyledons do, and we know what our first set of leaves are doing. And now it's ready for light. So your seed didn't need light. Your seed, if you remember, it's in its coat, it's under the ground, it's got the warmth and the moisture that's breaking it out of its hibernation, and it's ready to, as some people say, hatch. Completely not a correct term, but we're gonna run with it. So after it's hatched, germinated, this is what we have. Well, now, what it's ready for, the moment those leaves have come out, what it's ready for now is light. And that's what we have here. This setup here is showing you different ways to get light to your plant. Like I said, today, it's overcast, it's cold and rainy. It might not be enough light for your seeds, so you can do an artificial one like this. So what does the light do? Well, combined with the other thing, water, we know light is an extremely crucial form of photosynthesis. So what we know is happening, if you guys remember on the photosynthesis, the light is hitting this leaf, and it's hitting the chlorophyll, undergoing a reaction, and the water, we're going to touch on water again, is in here, that's coming up, everything's happening in the leaf, and now it's creating energy, and that's creating the plant to grow. Now, something rather interesting about this, a lot of people, so all of that photosynthesis is taking place in the chlorophyll, okay? So chlorophyll, chlorophyll, a lot of people think chlorophyll is green because you look at the leaves and you see green, but we don't actually see what the color is. We see the light that's reflected off of it. So the plant leaves, these leaves are actually absorbing the red and the blue light off of the sun. So what ends up happening, do I have an empty page here? Perfect. Light. So, we've got the sun, he's in the sky, and very important here, we all know the sun's happy, he's a happy guy, and what he ends up doing is the sun is sending out its sun rays, but it's not just that. You guys have all, I hope, seen a spectrum. Again, I've got no yellow. So what it's doing right now is it's sending out all the different colors that you see in a spectrum. And they're all coming down, and what they're doing, what all of these colors are doing, is they're hitting our little seedling. okay? And he's sitting there and he's absorbing it. But the reason we see him as green, these colors can be pretty hard to pick up with the eye, and he's absorbing all of the red and the blue to grow. So they're going straight into the leaf. And the green is what our eyes are picking up. So this is reflected off to our eyes, and we perceive them as green. And obviously there's different colors, we can touch on that. But that's what the chlorophyll does. So this is all happening in the leaf. That's why it looks green, even though it's actually absorbing the red and the blue light spectrum from the sun. So what happens is that goes in there, and we know that the chlorophyll is in the cells. And the chlorophyll, mixed with the water and carbon dioxide, is what happens with photosynthesis. What does that do? Well, if you guys remember, it's creating sugar, glucose, and oxygen. So it's creating energy in here now. The plant is using that sugar. It's, as we know, putting out more roots, which then is causing the new growth, more leaves, picking up more of the sun rays, and so on. So that's why the light is so important, and it's also why most plants that we look around, you can see all these plants behind me, are green. And by the way, I just want to say, we are really lucky here. There's really nothing better than starting your day surrounded in this level of greenery and looking at it. Birds singing. It might be cold and wet outside. It's just fantastic in here. So that's the light, and that's how that is affecting our seedling. Seed, again, remember, seed doesn't need it, but the seedling very, very much needs that light now in order to grow. Without it, there can be no photosynthesis. All of the nutrients that were in that seed have been expended on the cotyledon and the taproot. So now it's got to start making its own food, and that's where the light comes in. So next up is water. So even a seed needs water, but now what we have to think about is our seedlings need water. So you can see all of these guys. So what ends up happening, and again, water is a vital element in the photosynthesis. So, we've got our seedling here. We're going to make him a bit thicker. He's got his big fat leaves there, and he's got the roots coming down here. So, we know what's happening above ground. Above ground, our sun hitting the leaves, photosynthesis. What's happening down here? So, there's our soil, and we know that the water is coming down, getting into the soil, and in here. Well, these roots are drinking that water up, and they pull it up, and it's through a system called transpiration. Transpiration. And what that means, it's the active flow and the active movement of the water through a plant. So the roots are pulling the water up, and they're going up through our stem into our leaf. This reaction here of the photosynthesis requires water. So the water goes up into there. This is all happening now, and now the plant has the growth, and the water comes down. So one thing, I didn't leave myself an extra page, so I'm going to have to try and cram it in here. If you've ever not watered a plant, you'll see them wilt. If you remember, we touched on how plant cells had cell walls. Well, that cell wall is primarily water. When it doesn't have water and that cell wall is breaking down and it's getting thinner, then it can't hold the plant up, just like a wall. You build a wall out of really thin wood as opposed to heavy, heavy bricks, which one's going to hold better? It's the same thing. This gets very thin and ineffectual. The plant wilts and can't keep itself up. And that's all through watering. So you can come in and see your plant and it's wilted and looking terrible. You give it some water, those cells start strengthening, the light's hitting it, and next thing you know, your seedling is popped right back up. So that's where the water is really, really key. So, a couple of things here. When you got your seedling, keep your light low. Too many times I see people's lights up here instead of down here. So here's a great example. That's a pea we started, and this is a pea we started at the same time. I deliberately put them under different light conditions. Same with our sunflowers, okay? You can see the difference. These peas, they're short, they're compact, they've got a thick stem, the leaves are clustered together. They're gonna do so much better than this guy. He's gotten too leggy, reaching for that sunlight. So you wanna keep your light low, just like this. As your plants grow, just raise your lights as needed so that they don't burn. Remove your heat mat. Heat is necessary for seeds, not seedlings. You have a heat mat under there now, you can really trigger them to grow. They're gonna get too big, too leggy to go outside. You wanna get that heat mat out. Remember what we said at the beginning, photosynthesis is creating energy. That is creating a warmth inside the plant and allowing it to grow at its own rate. You don't want them cold, but you don't want them hot. And then next, keep your water even. Too many times you see people flood their plant like that, way too much water. Even at this rate, remember our trusty spray bottle? Now you might have to do it 2 or 3 times a day, but that's what you want to do. When we transplant them, which we're going to be doing later this week, into the bigger pots, then we can start using our can. But for right now, we're going to use our trusty method, okay? So I want you guys to all do that, and that's what we do. So, those are your top tips. Keep your light low, get your heat mat out, and keep your water nice and consistent and even. And that's all your seedling needs. We are going to talk about transplanting. You guys, the comments and everything else have been great. We want to give a little something back to you guys. So what we'd love for you guys to do is our YouTube channel is up and running. Our amazing Randy behind the cameras has uploaded all of the videos on there. At the end of this week, all of these are going to be uploaded. If you guys go onto our Facebook or Instagram after these videos and comment subscribe, we're going to give you all a free pack of sunflower seeds. You'll be able to pick them up at the store. We want to see tons of sunflowers. We want to see Calgary exploding with sunflowers, okay? So you let us know. And just comment, subscribe, we'll message you back and we'll say, hey, you know, we got your seeds, we'll put a name on them and we'll leave them a customer service for you. Keep your comments in, keep your questions in, subscribe to our YouTube, let's get some seeds out there. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow for Wednesday, my second favorite day of the week. Okay, bye everyone.